on, Jonah? Can y'all hear me? All right, thank y'all. Well, before we start off, who knows that the Christian religion, we get this really bad perspective. People think we're crazy, right? We're unique. Sometimes, somebody says we're the Jesus freaks, or we're just those really crazy people, kind of like what Pastor Ori said last week. We're just kind of unique. Well, kind of continuing on perspectives, what I'm going to be speaking on is not all impossible things are bad. Now, does anybody know what that means? Not everything is super bad. So I'm going to start off with just kind of like a quick story. Now, who remembers the story of David? David and Goliath, so on and so forth, right? Awesome man of God. Well, as we go out through his life, David, he sinned. Do y'all know any more aspects of what David done? Okay, so some of y'all know. I'll break the news. Well, David committed adultery. David committed murder. And the next man I'm talking about is Paul. Actually, I'm sorry, Saul, to start off with. So Saul started off with, who knows what Saul did? Okay, so a little quick breakdown. Saul wanted to completely kill the Christian religion, wipe it off the earth. He wanted no Christians to be part of this world. So, next person, all right? He had his divine revelation with God, and then that's the name change to Paul. So this starts off with my first point of it's impossible to achieve and maintain perfection. Pretty simple, but I'm really loud. I'm sorry, y'all. It's impossible to achieve and maintain perfection. So who in here thinks that they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend that think they have to be perfect for all the time? Nobody has to raise their hands because I've done it myself, honestly. I'm going to be honest with y'all. We go throughout and we think we have to be perfect and we have to just do everything right, go follow the ABCs of life. It's just kind of crazy. It's not us, Have y'all ever heard the term practice makes perfect? I'm sorry, I don't follow that. We're not perfect people. So, needless to say, here comes my example. David and Saul or Paul, they weren't perfect people, but they're still loved by God and they still done the great things that God called them to do, right? All right, so, I have a verse for that, I believe. It says, Galatians 3:3, are you so foolish after beginning with the Spirit, and you're now trying to attain your goal by human flesh? So what it's saying is we're trying to achieve perfection and maintain perfection, but yet we can't do it. That's kind of putting our trust in somebody else besides God. You follow me? All right, so like I said, it's just trying to put our trust in somebody else besides God. It's just putting ourselves in our own flesh, therefore casting God out of the picture. All right? Next impossible thing to do is to serve or love God without serving or loving people. So who knows that serving and loving, I consider it in the same boat, right? And in order for me to serve y'all, I have to love y'all. And trust me, I love y'all, but that doesn't mean I have to like all of y'all. All right, so needless to say, Christ was sent to this earth to serve. Christ loved every single one of y'all. He served every single one of us. He was there when we needed somebody to be there. So, back to my notes. I'm sorry, y'all. Christ came to serve, and he served the worst. Honestly, I'm not the best. And just to realize that God he sent his only son just to serve me. He sent Jesus. He didn't hang out with the perfect people. Remember, there is no perfect people. He hung out with the sinners. He hung out with the prostitutes. He hung out with the drunks. He hung out with the adulterers. He served everybody. All right, I have a Bible verse to back up with that as well. It says 1 John 4:7-8. It says, dear friends, let us continue to love one another, for love comes from God. Anyone who loves is a child of God, but anybody who does not love God, for God is love. So I don't know if y'all can understand that I can't even begin to fathom how much God has loved us. But yet, when we claim the title, we're Christians, right? Who in here is proud to say that I'm a Christian, right? All right, number one, what does Christian stand for? Christ-like. And Christ came to serve and Christ came to love. Even the most people that we don't really like all the time, You know, that one person that wants to poke and prod at you in class, or that little brother or little sister. You know how it goes. Granted, we may not like them, but the Bible says we still have to love them. So, God is love. We can't serve without loving God. So this is my next big point is, we're never going to disappoint God, y'all. You know, I'm going to give you a little bit of my testimony. You know, I used to live my life, I was raised in church, but mine was very much fear-driven. The fear of going to hell. Everybody in here is afraid of going to hell. But don't let that drive your relationship with God. Like I said, on my notes I put, we don't want to be fear-driven to a relationship with God. We want to be faith-driven. Faith-driven entails of, putting our trust in God whenever things just seem like they're just not there. Putting our trust in God where just things aren't working out at home. Even to the simplest things of, hey, God, I want this job. I'm going to trust you to provide for me. And when we get from fear-driven, it's more like, hey, I'm really about to screw up. I'm about to go to hell. I'm scared. Okay? Down to the simple fact of we're scared just to do anything. We're scared to step out of our comfort zone. We're scared to step out of our box. We're scared just to talk to that new person. Maybe that new person needs to meet somebody. Listen, y'all, God's not disappointed. I've lived through it all. God is not disappointed despite the circumstances, the adversities, and the flaws that we've gone through. Listen, y'all, God's not disappointed. In fact, sometimes God uses those times to let us grow, just to mature ourselves in our faith, just to continue just to know more about God, and really just put our trust wholeheartedly in a God that loves us. So, if you've ever felt like if you disappointed God, just remember that you haven't. Like I said, I'm pretty sure every one of us in here can sit down and say, hey, God's really he just doesn't really like me right now. Right? It'd be crazy not to. It's just part of us. That's the human side of us. That's the flesh side of us, We live our life off of disappointment. But I just want to challenge y'all just to build that relationship out of faith. Okay? So, that's my impossibilities. So that's what I'm saying. Our impossibilities aren't so negative. Remember, some impossibilities aren't negative. So, number 3, it's impossible. Okay? And this is where I'm going to slow down with some of my points. All right, our possibilities. It is possible to love. I have a verse that says, 2 John 1:5, I'm not writing you a new command, but one we have the one we've had from the beginning. I ask that we love one another. So if we sit there and we only focus on ourselves and never love anybody else, that's selfishness. We only love ourselves. How can we love God? In order to love other people, we have to love our God first. In order to love your husband or your wife. Because majority of y'all plan on getting married, right? Oh, well, some of y'all's got to find somebody to marry you first. So needless to say, in order for us to really love somebody, you have to love God first. And when you love God, you're going to love everybody else. I said, I could tell y'all 5 years ago, I couldn't stand y'all, but I love y'all now. I'm just kidding, y'all. Y'all act so serious on me, I don't like it. All right. So like I said, just God is a form of love, and if we want God to manifest in us, we're going to have to portray that love. Like I said, listen, y'all. If y'all don't know, I work at Austal, right? Austal's a shipyard. Do any of y'all know what a shipyard's like? There's some pretty rough people out there, if I have to say so myself. Men that they cuss. They cuss you for no reason. They just use words as adjectives. Is that right? Adjectives? Okay, thank y'all. I'm not in school anymore. They use cuss words as adjectives. So I go throughout the day and I'm like, man, God, how am I supposed to love these people? These people are cussing me like a dog, but how? Oh, dear Jesus. And that's where you say, I'll pray for you. I'm just kidding. Don't tell them that. So listen, sometimes, it just seems really tough. But, we're supposed to love people. Even if, like God, they're the worst of the worst. So, and you ask me how. I mean, if anybody's wondering how, when I start focusing on myself, when we start focusing on ourselves, when we become selfless and put others before us, we learn to love them. Despite their flaws, despite what they've done to us in the past. The hurt, the pain that somebody may have caused you, those words they might have said. You're supposed to love them. You know, we always think about, oh, how they've hurt me, but have you ever realized what's happened to them? What's happened to that person that doesn't want to talk to you, but you keep on agitating them just a little bit? Listen, I've done it before. You just want them to tell you what's wrong. Hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And they snap. And then you get your feelings hurt. And then you think, oh, I'm not talking to this person again because they're mean. Well, do you know what they're going through at home? Do you know what they're going through at school? Like I said, let's put ourselves to the side for a second and put that person, that brother, that sister, that mom, or that dad, put them in front of us. And here's the thing. If you show somebody love, a lot of the times you're going to get it in return. They're going to wonder, why in the world do they love me? Somebody that just kind of, I barely know, shows me so much love, but I guarantee you, you may be that only person that they know that can lead them to Christ. All right? Number 2, this is one that hits me at home. It's possible to succeed. So who here right now is going throughout life and they're like, man, what am I going to do when I get older? What am I going to do when I have a family? And we're all stuck in the same boat. Listen, y'all, I'm just not getting out of it, just a little bit. And I'm 21 years old. Listen, I'm going to let you know. You stay in the Word and you just stay constant with God. He's going to let you know. So God's going to provide a way for us to succeed as long as we try to succeed in His will for our life. What I'm trying to say is, if we try to line up with God's will for our life, He's going to be very evident in ours. But if we try, let's say God has us on this straight and narrow path right here. See this black line, everybody? This black line. We're walking the line. Everything's working. Every door's opening right for us. But as soon as we try to stray, it's not working out. Granted, we may succeed, but are we going to be happy? Are we going to have that healthy relationship with our wife and our family and our kids? Granted, listen, I can go out and I can make a ton of money. I can go completely away, halfway across the world. I could probably, just excuse my examples, $100,000 a year. But am I going to be happy with my relationship with God, with my relationship with my family, with my relationship with y'all? Listen, y'all, God's going to provide a way for us to succeed. So, John 3:27, John answered, "It is not possible for a person to succeed." I'm talking about eternal success without heaven's or the Lord's help. So that puts it in a different aspect. It's almost to the point of, in order for us to succeed in our journey to heaven, we have to have God. We can't try to put faith in our own human flesh because our human flesh fails every single day. If we succeed, it's because the help of God is with us. So in the aspect of going to heaven, we can't do it by ourselves. Like I said, nobody out here is perfect. We serve a perfect God, right? Nobody out here is perfect. So listen, I'm really just, that's my thing for y'all, is just really just strive just to touch base with God. Say, God, and this is my prayer with y'all. I sat down. I said, God, and it's kind of crazy how everything happened. If y'all want to know the story, I'll be afterwards. I said, God, I want to be faithful to you. But if you say go, I'm going to go. So these roads are winding, and it just kind of seems like everything wasn't working out the way I should, but then God showed His face, and He's been faithful ever since. So listen, y'all, pray for guidance. Pray for wisdom. Pray for God just to show you this great and this glorious way. Sometimes it may not be what you want, that you think, but I guarantee you in the long run, it's going to be everything you've ever asked for. So my last and closing point is, it is possible to be happy. Who in here is going through life right now and they're just sitting there thinking, I'm not happy. I feel like I'm broken. I feel like anxiety is taking over, depression, suicidal thoughts. You just thinking, I'm so overwhelmed right now. There's nothing in this world that can just pull me out of this. Listen, y'all, I've dealt with it one-on-one. It's a horrible feeling. But I tell you one thing. We serve a God of mercy and a God of grace that's there for us at all times. He's a constant God. Listen, y'all, happiness isn't as far away. It just isn't as far away as we think it is. It's literally just a hand out there. You call to God, and I guarantee you, he's going to make his life evident in you. He's going to show his face. So Psalm 34, 12 through 15 says, seek your happiness in the Lord, and he will. He'll give you your heart's desires. Does anybody know what that means? If you seek your happiness in God and you seek a one-on-one relationship with God, he's going to put these desires in your heart, and they're so overwhelming, and he's just going to continue just to lay out these opportunities. Listen, y'all, just a little tidbit of my little information. I never wanted to go into youth ministry. I mean, I'm just being brutally honest with y'all. I never wanted to go into youth ministry. I wanted to go work, and I wanted to go work with my hands. And I wanted just to do these things, cool things with my hand, go out and make money. But I sat down and I said, God, I want to be successful, but I want to follow your will for my life. And one Wednesday night, I came to this altar, and I had 4 students pray for me. Students I've never met. I have to, honestly, I don't even know if I've even seen them here anymore, honestly. But they prayed for me. And it lit this passion inside of me. Here's my thing to y'all. If y'all can pray for me, and y'all can do so much for me, why can't I do that in return? So listen, we can be happy. God's going to place a desire in your heart. If you want to go out and you want to be a nurse, pray for it. God's placed that desire in y'all's heart, and y'all are going to be happy. Listen, some days may seem tough. Some days may seem long, and you just get aggravated with that coworker or your boss or your family. Trust me. But you're going to, 9 times out of 10, I guarantee you're going to go home. You're going to go happy. And it's a whole lot easier to be thankful for the things God has given you instead of the things that you brought into your own life that you have to deal with. So, I really just urge y'all to seek happiness in God. He's worked in my life more evident than I've ever seen in the past year. But God's going to work at your pace. Y'all hear me? God's going to work at y'all's pace. Now listen, if y'all want to take one step at a time, that's all he's going to take with y'all. If you just want to be a little bit happy, there's no such thing. You're going to be completely happy with God. But like I said, if y'all just want to take one step at a time, he's going to go at that pace. God's never going to overload you with this massive just load. Sometimes it may feel like it, but listen, don't quote me. There's a verse that says, God will not put you through more than you can handle. God's not going to take away a joy that he's implanted in your heart. God's going to be more evident and more joyous, and he's going to be so much in your life that you just shine to everybody else out there. So just in closing, I'm really honestly, y'all, I've been speaking to myself more. I've been speaking to y'all. Who in here is tired of just depression, anxiety, and these just hurtful and painful thoughts? And I'm here with y'all. And you just want to give it up. We all get caught up in the moment. We all get caught up in school. And things just kind of seem overwhelming. But y'all, we serve a constant God. A God of mercy and a God of grace. And listen, y'all, I can guarantee you, as soon as you let him in, you'll never regret it. So like I said, if everybody just bow their head, close their eyes, I'm just going to ask a couple questions. If you're tired of feeling like you are no good, tired of feeling like Satan just has this strangle right around you that you just can't do anything about it. You know, the Bible says Satan is here to kill, steal, and destroy. Now listen, I guarantee you one thing. You can rebuke that. So I really just want to just encourage y'all. Listen. Who's tired of just feeling this suicidal thought, the depression, the anxiety? Listen, I promise you can cast it out with God. You know, if you just want to raise your hands, this altar is wide open, y'all. We have people going through the same thing, the same struggles. And I guarantee you one thing, they can help you out. We have brothers and sisters in Christ in here that's always going to be here with you. Y'all, this altar's open. And I really just invite anybody just to come. Now, if I could have our student leadership team just to pray with some of the students as well. The next thing is, who here feels like they've disappointed God? Who here just wants to rekindle that fire with God? A rededication? Or somebody who's never even met the Lord? Listen, we serve a God of love, and He's not disappointed with y'all. Even if you feel like you just can't, you've drifted so far away, we do still serve a God of love and a God of grace. Listen, y'all, this altar's open. We have here people just willing to just to pray with you, talk with you one-on-one.
Awesome, guys. As they're continuing to pray, I want you just to close your eyes for